recover past mental health. A fragile thread, but we'll find strength. Let love spread, life's a climb. Just take a step, rise above, find your breath. In the darkness we will find a shining light to free our mind, to free our mind. Self-growth bloom like petals bloom, shedding tears will heal the wounds and the chaos. Let's find peace, embrace the pain, let it release.
Relax your mind. It's divine time.
Yo, can you hear me?
Bless, yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Yep.
Polo. Everybody still good?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Y'all see the topic, solidarity of blacks. With it, we're jumping straight into it. Whoa. Okay, there you are. I was looking for you, nice guy. I'm gonna have you start this one off, mainly because of the fact that we started having this conversation, I think, last week, and we were like, hold it, pause. Let's continue this next week.
Sure.
Many individuals in America. Let's speak about America, what we are familiar with right now, where we are. What is the biggest issue you see when it comes down to us and us coming together as a people?
From what I've observed, and again, let me clarify, what I've observed through my experiences is that there's a lot of this false expectations on who we're supposed to be versus who we genuinely are. It's almost like we take the time to validate and own these social constructs and standards that really limit us in how we behave and how we carry ourselves, especially in the potential that's within us to help us inspire to who we can truly be. I think our society sensationalizes the performative nature that's expected of people of color. And because that's so sensationalized, some people choose to buy into that versus taking the upward battle of being an individual. And again, this has just been my observations of it. And I don't speak in absolutes. I just speak in what I've seen in some people, not all though.
Okay. Priestess Amani, same question to you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
My question is, in America, what do you see as the biggest problem that causes us as male individuals not to be able to come together?
I don't see an issue. I think there's too many examples in the past and current of Black people sticking together. For us to believe that Black people don't stick together, otherwise we would not be here and in the current state of existence in America that we're in. So I think it's a myth that Black people can't stick together. I think we direct our attention in the wrong areas.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I stand with that.
Okay. Mr. Impossible.
I'm going to piggyback on some of the same lines that she was on, and just in reference of, if you go through history, you show that we all always stuck together. There's not been a time in history that we have not done it together. It's just that where they control the media, they make you feel that we're not connected. You go into the real neighborhoods, you see neighborhoods. You go into the communities, you're going to know a difference.
Yes.
But that community is going to stand for something. So a lot of it is just like it's whitewash. They'll give you all the destruction in the world, but won't allow you to connect, quote unquote. But we already connected. It's been that way since day one.
Straight up.
You got cities all over, you got states all over that's doing wonderful things, and they are melanated people. So it's never been a time that we haven't done it. It's been a time that we have been murdered, killed, exploited, and all of those different things.
Yes.
And they'll get to run the propaganda because of the media. But there's not been a time that we haven't. I agree with her totally.
So Anaya says we're capable of sticking together and standing together. There have always been consequences, though. That is true. I'm going to go ahead and hit my little spew real quick on it, because for me, I agree. I don't think that we cannot stand together. I think the biggest issue is the fact that we don't see ourselves standing together. A lot of times on the media, they always want to show you the negative, what it is that we are doing wrong, never what we are doing right. They constantly have us in the light as if we are some animals and constantly attacking people, or we're constantly doing bad things to other individuals, mostly to ourselves. They do not portray when other ethnicities are doing bad things, or they usually want to show when other ethnicities are doing good things and try to make it seem like we don't do anything for ourselves. We always need government aid, or that we're always putting money into other people. There's a lot of the thing that they fail to focus on and show us is that we have had cities, they burned them down, they've washed it, drowned it. We have done all these things that what we need to do, but every single time that we do, they destroy it. Just like how Anaya Collins said, that we are capable of sticking together and standing together. There have always been consequences, though, and those consequences are the reason why a lot of people throughout the generations are afraid to do things together. I mean, you remember that song NWA? I think Eazy-E said it. He was like, a group of black people is what labeled as a gang. So I mean, when they see a lot of us together, let's say me, Impossible, and Mr. Nice Guy and Princess Amani, if we all were together in one area and we walk down the road, how many people do you think gonna clutch their purse? How many people do you think gonna cross the other side of the road? We have been put in negative light.
How many people are going to gravitate towards us?
Yeah, I don't really have that problem when I go out.
I don't have that connection.
I do. People still think I'm the drug or the weed man. It sucks. It sucks. And I say that with shame.
Vibrate higher.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, when a group of us usually come together, oftentimes we draw eyes from like the police, or we'll draw eyes from another type of people, you know, other people who are usually looking like us. When a group of us,
I think that's an issue. I think that's the issue, is how we're using our own eyes. You know, why do we see ourselves in that manner?
Good, boss?
Why are we describing ourselves in that manner?
Mm-hmm.
Why would we continue to speak about ourselves in that manner?
Right.
I understand.
Why are we caring about the lens of other people when it comes to who we are?
I understand that. The issue there is everybody doesn't look like that. Everybody doesn't think like that.
That's why
with that,
don't change my lens.
Yeah, I'm not talking. I'm talking about of the masses, because like with us, yeah, we may see things like that. We may think like that. But when I come on here, I think of those who may not be on here who deal with these types of things. I think of everybody.
Right.
So that's
we can't elevate them if we validate their current lens. So I don't even know what.
Could you elaborate on that, please?
No, please. That was perfect. No. Keep going.
Seriously. Could you elaborate on that?
We cannot elevate them, but at the same time, if I had people,
when is your next podcast?
I'm actually doing one right now. You can speak if you want to. All right. So we are doing one right now.
May I say this?
Yes,
you were saying that there's always a consequence when we come together. That is not true. There's not always a consequence when we come together. I live in a Black community. I don't know about you, and maybe
that wasn't me. I was
the thing.
I got the message right there.
I live in the hood, and I'm about the hood, and it's always Black people together doing positive things in this community. They don't have no problem from nobody, and a lot of times they are the ones at the city hall talking to the government and the police department, etc., to let them know about the positive things that they're doing, in which the government will also assist them with funding and sometimes protection to make sure that they can do it. I think when we continue to have these ideas that there's a consequence for us being together, we're encouraging ourselves not to do anything. And what are we teaching our youth when we tell them that Black people can't stick together, and when they do, they get killed? I mean, you were talking about the media and how the media is controlling our image. That's one of the things that they want us to believe, that every time you are doing something as far as solidarity, you're going to be punished, you're going to be killed, you're going to be labeled. But we also come from a group of people that never gave a fuck about what nobody thought about them. They still got up and they did it. They was not afraid to die. And I think that's, if there's any issue with solidarity, it's ignorance and it's fear.
Woo! Priestess Imani.
I agree with that.
I had like a whole line that I was gonna go down to lead to what you just got to, and you just jumped like 2 to get there.
You know, I'm always.
I had like a whole outline. I was like, all right, I got my talking points. So I was like, let's hit these.
We in solidarity. We
are.
Yelled, I'm scared to drive because of the cops.
This guy right here. I'm scared to drive. He said, I'm scared to drive because of the cops.
You know, Black folks choose to be scared of the wrong stuff.
You ignorant.
Black folks choose.
That's facts.
You know.
No, that's true. That's true.
You gotta, again, you gotta think about it. You gotta think about it like this. As much as we understand and know who we are, we're still talking about an aspect of what someone else sees us as, and we're describing ourselves. How in the hell are we gonna describe ourselves separate from who we really are? That's crazy. And we passionate about that shit. How the hell you passionate about being separated from your own thing? Like, that's crazy.
What's up, Donnie?
So yeah, it's just
doing a live podcast right now.
What we say in this ether, that shit real. I'm never gonna goddamn talk about some shit that I ain't. I'm always gonna speak from the place I am. I won't give a damn how somebody sees me.
Right.
I know how I see me, and I speak on how I see. Because if I see me like that, I see everyone like that. Now, if they're not able to vibe up to, as you said,
and I agree with you.
If they're not able to vibe up to that, that's on them. I ain't got shit to do with that.
And that's what
nigga, this my vibe.
As well.
This my vibe.
Absolutely. I think that we have to start setting a standard of what Blackness is.
Check.
You know, when we talk about Black people, it has to be more than skin and nappy hair.
Yes.
If they're not about unity and the progression of our race, they're not Black. Your Black card.
I'm sorry. Say that.
We revoke
again.
Black cards when somebody ain't seen a movie. Why aren't we revoking Black cards when somebody is out here destroying the community, not raising their children right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I agree. 100%. I'm sorry. I misinterpreted.
Yeah, I love the fact that Mr. Nice Guy, is there anything you want to add to that? Because I was going to run into the next.
Oh. Well, I'm just taking notes because a lot of with names, and I apologize, and my screen is very small. Ma'am, what is your name again? In the red.
Princess Imani.
With the red tank. Princess Imani. Okay.
Imani.
And my brother with the glasses. Princess Imani. Impossible. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. Impossible. I'm enjoying everything. I'm enjoying everything y'all saying, and I agree with y'all 100, if not 1,000%. Because a lot of it is about the perception we have of ourselves. And that's a lot that I see in my experiences in dealing with people of color in my area. Because the only thing that the only thing that I see, and I've seen this every time I've had these conversations, the difference between our experiences or our current experiences is the perceived environment versus the reality of the community. And you're right. The media does portray us out in a certain light that is that's not complimentary to our characters. But here's the unfortunate truth about that. I'm 100% with y'all, okay? As Black people, we shouldn't be watching that and believing that of ourselves. And for the most part, I don't believe we do. And again, that's from my experiences. However, unfortunately, most of the world watches that and chooses to believe it because they have nothing to really compare it to outside of their own reality. Now, you had mentioned something earlier, Prince. I apologize. I'm just calling you Princess, and if it's offensive, I don't mean to. But Princess is that vibrating on Priestess. I am so sorry. Priestess is vibrating on that. I think you were saying, I'm paraphrasing. You said vibrating on that same energy or vibrate higher. And I agree with you on that. And that's something I attempt to do, or I try to do daily. But unfortunately, my environment is not very well receiving, and they hold on to this this very adversarial mentality when it comes to us versus them. And the one thing that you'll probably learn about me later on as we continue to talk, we continue to learn and grow, is that I'm all for unity and understanding, as well as dialogue and conversation, because I believe, in order to alleviate some of these false narratives, whether it's perceived by our own or projected onto others, is to have contact as well as context with one another. If we all stay in our separate silos, in our own echo chambers, we're only going to be, regurgitating stuff that either we already know about that should be shared, or what they choose to believe based on a false narrative. So I'm enjoying all the communication. And I really love what you said about setting the standard for ourselves, because that's something we should be continuing to practice day in and day out. But that's all I want to say. So if I'm being quiet, that's all I'm doing is taking notes.
I'm right there with you. I'm taking notes too, boss.
But I agree with Priest Amani,
Yes.
because when we tiptoe around these people and we accept their behavior, then
Yes.
they magnified this. Like, being ratchet has been magnified to the 20th power, like it's the right thing. So white people perceive us as that because we're wearing it like it's a code. That's bullshit. The more we tiptoe around it, the more they'll think it's the behavior that needs to be projected. There's black and then there's ratchet, 100%. And
Yes,
I don't like living in the shadow of any of that period. Talking to people or talking to young adults when I talk, it is there's an essence about yourself that needs to be there's an essence about yourself that needs to be projected, that people will respect and will respect and accept. If you just fall for literally anything or move aside and let people say what they want to say or let them act a specific way, that's the breakdown of our communities. Think about this. I grew up in a time where the neighborhood didn't accept specific things. If you acted like a donkey, you got treated like one, and they made you do the right thing to show respect for everybody in that neighborhood. That's changed quite a bit.
Yes.
It changed. It changed with every man for himself, and it changed with this whole thing in regards to creating an image that everyone has to accept. It's bullshit.
All right, so Mr. Signal,
I agree. I agree.
I love that you said that you got black folk, you got ratchet. One of the things that I want to ask on that, where does the word that they love to throw around, nigga, where does that fall in? Because you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm a real nigga. Oh, this nigga this, or you ain't no real nigga." That brings me to want to ask the question: what is black? Because a lot of people talk about this. Oh, you're not black because you may sound educated, or you're not black because you walk a certain way, talk a certain way,
shit.
or dress a type of way.
I mean, but they only accepted a status. We aren't black.
I hear too.
We are where we came from, the culture that we came from. Black is just a status. Black is a color. Black is like my shirts. I'm not that dark. There are some people that are, but that's not. It does not describe who we are or where we came from. We were labeled that because if we are labeled who we are, where we came from, they would have to give us what belongs to us, and it's going to continue to be this way. We're going to continue to accept their titles from them, because now it went from being black to African American to what now? I mean, look, it's never our correct status. When they give us when we force our correct status, then they will listen and they will give us back what belongs to us, because they took some shit and they have to give us a false name so we fly under the flag that they want us to, so they don't give us our shit back. You see what I'm saying? That and nothing to do with reparations or nothing. It has everything to do with what actually belongs to us and what we own that they've taken, and they bartered it and rented it out and gave it to other folks. That's the truth of the matter. So the label black and nigga or negro or nigger is the title that they gave us, and we just accepted it because we're in this state of mind that we couldn't remember who we are, and we don't know anything else other than that.
I love the fact that you say that, because I had looked into it, and what I had found out was the title Moor was actually a title that was given to all dark-skinned people, whether they were from America or anywhere else. It was a title
That's what Moor means.
Yeah, from dark people. A lot of people were trying to say that we are the Moors, as in like the indigenous people of America. And I'm like, but Moor doesn't even mean that you are American. Moor. Until now. Yeah, you kill me with that.
Listen,
kill me with that.
When they took your name, they not only took the land.
I'm gonna throw that up in a second, Anaya.
They not only took your name and the land, they took the very nature, your very rights that you have. Because once you claim yourself as Black, African American, those things are in treaties. Well, in treaties that right now today, you don't get that privilege.
You don't.
So
it's not recognized.
As long as you can be a Black, an African American, and you don't take up your Moorish right, you don't take up your right to be who you are. And I'm saying you got to be a Moor, you could be a Hebrew, Israelites, whatever it is you call yourself. That's fine.
Your identity.
I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes.
As a whole.
Yep. You're true.
I'm saying is when they give you a name, you renounce your whole right. And I think it's a treaty of 1783, the Treaty of Paris, if I'm not mistaken.
Treaty of 1783, the Treaty of Friendship.
1783? Okay. 1783.
Yeah, Treaty of Peace and Friendship, all of those.
Bam. So once they changed the treaty, and what's in the treaty says as long as you call yourself anything but this,
that's it.
You got no rights.
Yep. No right. The Black's Law Dictionary also states that too. It's where they say that if black is just a color, when you state that you are Black or anything along those lines, you are stating that you are not worth anything. You are at that point just property. And that's the reason why we are able to get pulled over. Why when we get pulled over by police or anything like that happens, it feels as if we have no rights and we're constantly being treated as an object because that's what they see us as, because that's what we're telling ourselves that we are. Because we fail
to see us as 3/5 of a human, like a dog's an animal, a dog, a cat, a horse, and all the rest of the stuff. We're still just because the times have changed, it doesn't mean that they've changed. They abolished the law that made us what they created us to be. The name that they gave us what they created us to be. The laws are still the same. We haven't asked them to abolish the law that named us incorrectly. So they're going to keep using the same thing that they've always called us and perceive us to be the way they've always perceived us. Unless we get up and say, hey, that's not me. And there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it without being combative. But until we do that, then they're going to keep calling us the same thing. It's like we're these animals and snatching us out of vehicles and then treating us like we're less than human, and things that less than human don't have human rights. But again,
I see your eyes, Priestess. I got you. I want to say one thing real quick, and I'm gonna give the floor to Priestess Imani because her eyes are saying, "Hold up, I want to say something." What I wanted to say real quick was just the fact that there are constitutional laws, and then there are these codes that they created. It's kind of like when you're in the military, you have lawful orders and unlawful orders. But Priestess Imani.
Coming from a Moorish background, being crowned the Moabites, I must say that it sounds so utopic. All you have to do is call yourself this thing, and file your affidavits, and everything is peachy. It is false. When you reclaim yourself as a Moor, it doesn't equate to an easy life. I know a lot of Moors locked up. I know a lot of Moors get pulled over and have to fight the court continuously. And what it ends up being is it's a false victory, because to be who you are, you're still having to go to this massa and say, "This is who I am. I got my papers."
Exactly.
The thing is, when it comes to true Black solidarity, I'm just gonna say Black because all over the world we can identify as Black. We may define it differently, but we can identify as Black. And we have to stop uniting because of they. We have to unite because of who we are, and that's what we're supposed to do. If we continue to come together because of police brutality and the crooked government, etc., we're indicating to the universe that niggas, okay, are not going to get together unless there's some bullshit going on, unless they are the catalyst for it.
Unless somebody threw a chair or something.
Yeah. So we have to indicate differently and stop worrying about they. Don't y'all get tired of talking about they? What happened to Black power? Why do we believe in white supremacy more than we believe in ourselves? What happened to that?
Because we fear white supremacy. That's why it's on our tongue.
How we fear white supremacy? We are talking about the Black
hold on. We can't all jump at once. You all can't jump
Yeah,
at
hold
once.
on. Yeah. I missed some. I missed some of that because my son. But where did we go to being afraid of white supremacy?
That was.
I'm sorry.
Why
Where
do
did we
we
go to being?
believe in
Are we
white
more afraid?
supremacy more than we believe in Black power, more than we believe in ourselves?
I think because the last time we were, I feel like this. The last control we were under has a lasting impression because we were never really free from it. We never really broke free from it. We got together and we did things. If we stayed together and we did things, it would make a difference. We're not together on anything. So even when you talk about the Moorish movement, that was on the basis of people finding information, bits and pieces of information, and not following it and not understanding that in order to be able to manage to manage this or to be safe under anything, you have to have a consulate. If we are the foreign diplomats in this country, which some of us are considered that, then every person that comes from a foreign place has a place that they check in with to make sure that they're okay. That's the first part of it. If we stick together like others stick together, then we wouldn't be having these problems. You see what I'm saying? But it always comes up on the basis of with white on our tongue because those are the last people that had rule over us. So we're still angry and we're still hurt and upset about what's been done. And again, whether we lived it or not, that is a pain that's transferred from generation to generation. And that's the things that we heard our grandparents talk about and their parents and our aunties and uncles talk about. All that's what happened. So they perpetuated the fear of that. Then that passed it down to us. Now, in some way, in form and fashion, my brain, I'm perpetuating the same thing because I've suffered under it. I've been beaten by a police officer, and they say that's white supremacy. As long as they keep us in a state of fear, we're going to be always fighting them against them. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but until we get to a place where we're not thinking on the basis of we have to do something to get away from them, and instead of standing up and living free like we have a right to, then it's going to always be this thing to where we're all roped together. We're all grabbed and dragged into one place if we do try to do anything to stand up. There's a way to do this, believe you me. And again, I'm not going to say much, but I've been working on some shit. And G's move in silence. That's what I heard, and that's what I remember, and that's what I believe. If you move in silence and you do what's necessary at that very time, at the time that you need to be there for your people, it can happen and it will happen. But right now, the yelling and screaming, the idea that because one person got killed and everybody's outraged by a white person, everybody's outraged. It's okay when we kill each other, right? It's not okay when we kill each other. It shouldn't be that way. But at the end of the day, that's the way it looks. And we look just as dysfunctional when we say that as when we are still in the state of mind of fear of when white people had done what they've done to our folks and it didn't really happen to us. You see what I'm saying? So this is, what do you call it? This is, oh God, there's a word for it. There is where you begin to love the person that did you the most damage.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome. There you go. Stockholm syndrome. That's the basis of what our community is destroyed under. Stockholm syndrome. We hate these some bitches, but we have to be around them, so we kind of love them, we kind of like them.
And
It's
I agree with that to an extent. I do. Before y'all get into it, I was taking some notes and I wanted to respond. And for the most part, Sigma Uno, you covered damn near all of it. Priestess Armani, did I say that right this time?
Imani.
I'm sorry. I'm
Just
trying. I
call
even
me
wrote it down.
priestess. Just tell me
Priestess.
priestess.
Okay, thank you, Priestess. You were asking the question. Well, you made the statement, and I'm paraphrasing. And correct me, please. When you were talking about us responding or us unifying because of the they, I 100% agree with that. Because more times than not, it's sensationalized that we, unify and we bond together um, over outrage. And that's just not the only time we should be unifying and coming together. And I think that needs to be portrayed and seen more. And to the other question that you said about when do we start fearing white supremacy? And I know what you're talking about, and I don't really fear it, but I see a lot of that fear going around. And from my observations, I would say it's because it's more direct and in our face versus what we see amongst ourselves as a culture. Again, different environments, different communities, different, areas, it's seen differently. And unfortunately, people of color aren't as
100%.
unified in all areas everywhere they're supposed to be. And I hate that coming from the background I grew up in, the places I've been and where I'm at now. So that would be my response to that question, why that is, based on what I've seen.
I also asked the question of why don't we believe in Black power? Can somebody please answer that for me?
Because
I don't know how to answer.
In what sense? In what sense? In what sense? In what sense? In what sense?
The full
Could
question
you elaborate, please?
Really the question was, why do we believe in white supremacy more than we believe in ourselves? That was the actual question.
I can give a crack at that one. So let's take this back to slavery.
Okay.
When they grabbed who they felt was the strongest man there, then they would demasculate him in front of everybody.
Oh, buck breaking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's truly the beginning of it. That's truly the go ahead. That's truly the beginning.
We feel that there's always someone who has power over us. The issue is we do not come back and take our own power. So we're stuck in this mindset of we can only do so much. And that's remember how I think it was Anaya, she had posted this up earlier. She says,
I was just about to come back to that.
And that ties into what happened to Black Power. The Black Power is the fact that over the generations, we have been told that we can't do nothing. Oh, you're just gonna be another nigga from the hood. Oh, okay. You want to go and you think you're better than people because you can go to college. We talked ourselves down so much that we started believing it. We took a lot of our own power from ourselves by believing in that. We lost our identity. I think it was Saturday. I did self-worth. That falls into the self-worth. We walk around thinking that we're this thing, like we portray a false identity of power, not really understanding what power is. So now we're thinking we are living in false pretense of something that we think that we are. Unfortunately, the Black power is there, just nobody's really, I can't say nobody. Very few are, what is that? Very few are claiming it. And with that, nobody's showing the others how to do it. Or if they do, they're being talked down upon, and we are moving in a time where everybody wants to fit in and feel cool. So if it's something that they're not used to, that they don't see often, they think that that's wrong.
I think we need to go back to mathematics. We need to go back to the 5% nation or something, because the math ain't mathing. Even though we know about, slavery and, the civil rights movement and a lot of the injustice that is happening today, we have been here for centuries. We are still here. So how do you believe in white supremacy more than your power? If we don't have no other power, peep the red light, my brother. It's simply I am. Regardless of everything that I've been through, I'm still here.
And you're not wrong. And you're not wrong. You're absolutely right. And I agree with that 100%. Right. But unfortunately, but I'm telling you you're right, because I believe in everything that you're saying. But to kind of Sigma Uno's point, as well as what Anaya was saying earlier, historically, not only has that not been enough, but it has been bogged down. They have wiped out civilizations of us empowering ourselves. And yeah, that you didn't use the term Sigma Uno, but I want to say it's generational trauma. So yes, I can see how a lot of people of color have that mentality, simply because of that. I'm not saying we can't get out of it. And I'm not even saying we should use as a crutch or an excuse to perpetuate the same behavior of empowering oppressors. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's, from what I've learned and what I've studied, that's where it comes from. And it's an unfortunate truth that I choose not to buy into, but unfortunately, not everyone shares my sentiment. And to be fair, my sentiment doesn't benefit everybody. There's people that have bought into this narrative that are, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but that's you hit it on the head. And the reason why
one second. Impossible. You had something to add on?
Let it go. Keep on going.
All right. Okay.
The reason why we all feel as fired up as we feel about it, because we're a select few that realize from the gate that this is not the place that I stand. You see what I'm saying? We've watched generations. 400 years is a lot of generations to change. If we started out fighting before we got on the boat, by the time we get down here to the 90s, to the 2000s, we're completely watered down because we have not been taught how to be the warrior or the village group that we knew we were supposed to be. The teaching has changed from generation to generation, and the fear became more prevalent from generation to generation. So because it becomes more prevalent, then no one's really teaching it. You know why? I remember my grandmother saying, you don't get out there and start fighting anybody. People will get the wrong idea of who you are. And I understand what she meant now. If you get out there fighting and bolstering up like you're a warrior, they're going to find a way to make you forget about being the warrior. You see what I'm saying? It's still in our DNA, true enough, because it keeps happening in every other, I can only see almost every other generation. You'll see somebody standing up like, I'm tired of this bullshit. I ain't taking this bullshit. But when that happens, you have everybody around you saying, oh, no, hold on a second. Don't act like that. Because if you do, it's going to cause you some trouble down the line. You see what I'm saying?
Sigma Uno, I'm sorry. I got to play devil's advocate. I got to challenge you a little bit on that. Even though I agree with most of what you're saying, would you say or agree that that is a certain form of control?
Mr. Nice Guy.
It is a
Mr. Nice Guy. Let him finish and then you can
go ahead.
Right?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, continue.
But to your question, yeah, it is a type of control. It's a mental control. We've gotten to a place where we're self-managed. They don't need to manage us anymore. They indoctrinated us continually over generations. We've been indoctrinated to the point to where they don't need to really manage us anymore. We're managed by religion. We're managed by fear. We're managed by literally everything that they've given us. They've started giving us from the time that we were in slavery up until now. We've never really been free, if you think about it. Our mind is still enslaved, 100%. And it's sad, but that is the track of it. And why don't we believe in ourselves? We don't believe in ourselves because we don't believe. We don't believe that we're capable of anything. And it's sad because when they erased our history, that's what they erased. Our ability to know that we're definitely the ground floor of everything that exists right now. But the kids that we raise, the kids that we interact with, the people that we interact with don't know that. So to tell them that, they'd have to see the proof to believe it, because that's the type of generation, that's where we become in the generation that we're in. I don't believe it. I got to see it. So that's why when you see and you hear about Black Wall Street or about Colfax, New York, about Rosewood, Florida, you hear about all those things, and you're like, oh shit, we did something? We did that? Oh damn! And then a new hope pops up in you. You see what I'm saying? But that's what's happened.
A new belief, a new narrative.
Yeah, we believe. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. When I was asking these questions, it was more so about this panel and the angle that
Oh,
we were starting off with,
mhm,
and
got it.
conversations around day and perspective and things like
Mm,
that. I think
right.
that we should shine more light on the people who do believe in us, right? And not just in historic times, but even now, or some of the historic instances that still exist, such as, Eatonton, Florida, or Oyotunji Village,
Mm,
the Gullah Geechee Nation.
Yep.
Um,
Right.
South
let's,
Carolina.
let's talk, the Underground Railroad.
right.
What is solidarity? That was the question that I saw popped up. What does it look like? It's cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
It's working together.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. Just
Mm-hmm.
working together. It's hey neighbor, can I get a cup of sugar?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Sure.
come over here on
Well,
Sunday and get you
that's
a
where we
plate.
came from. That's where we
You
came
know what
from.
I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
We're
what I was
talking
raised.
about the mothers and fathers of civilization. We cannot push the narrative that we don't sit together. And
Right.
even now, even though there are a lot
I
of
agree.
people that don't believe in themselves and they're afraid, there's too many instances of Black cooperatives, mutual aids, etc., that is demonstrated that they do believe in themselves and that they are not afraid and that they have courage. In fact, there's a sister who has done a lot of research on African American cooperatives and economics, and her name is Jessica Gordon. I
Mm-hmm.
would suggest anybody get that book. It's called A Collective Courage: A History of African American Cooperatives, Economic Thought and Practice.
One more time.
What's her
What's
name
the
again?
author's
Jessica Gordon.
name?
Yeah, Jessica what? Say her name again. Yeah,
Jessica Gordon. We
Gordon.
also
Okay,
talked
I
about
got it.
media, right? And then there are Black platforms for social media. There's a Twitter alternative called Spill. There's the Cookout, which is an invitation only app. Um, there's Good Feed, that's a platform for women, and POCIT, that is a platform for Black techs. Um, there's also some news, Black news channels that people can tune into. The Collective Diaspora is basically news about Black cooperatives. So if you want to know what solidarity looks like for Black people, go on the Collective Diaspora website and look at all of those examples and all of the positive things that Black people are doing today. Okay. There's also the Black Coalition. The Black Coalition is a list of Black banks. One of the most well-known Black banks in America is called One United Bank.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's
Yep.
also
Yep.
Black internet providers. Okay. Um, Network for Developing Conscious Communities gives you the infrastructure on how to set up cooperatives, mutual aids, etc., just in general, or for Black people. I think that it's important to know that Black people are not gathering under the same issues or the same problems or points of growth. We have to start looking at the Black collective as a body. Everybody can't be fingers on the hand. Somebody got to be the feet. Somebody got to be the brain. And when you look at all of the cooperatives and missions that are there, that exist, that's basically what we're looking at, an operating body that is still showing resistance. I think that another false perception is that African American people during slavery did not show resistance. And that is something that we believe. We only talk about Nat Turner, okay? There was a lot of resistance against slavery, and the resistance is still
100%.
happening today. So if you are wanting to really know what solidarity looks like, just go and look it up. It's going to be right there in your face. AI shouldn't know more about Black solidarity than you do. Okay? So that's all I got to say about that for now. Oh, I want to say this. This, I always got a little joke. We can't say there's no
Sure.
Black solidarity when there's brothers out here in the summertime with suits and bow ties selling bean pies. Okay? We can't say no Black
That's
solidarity.
funny. That's funny. That is funny. That is funny. Priestess. First of all, that was funny. And I have a question for you, okay? because I've been writing down everything you're saying because you are cooking, okay, for real, and you're educating me on a lot of stuff. You really are.
Yeah.
And funny story, my business has an account with One United, so yeah. Um, I only have one question about the idea that you were talking about, focusing on solidarity and the different outlets that you shared with us and everything like that. My only question is this. I'm not against that because I believe that knowing these things gives us a certain level of empowerment to change the false narratives and gives us, a new perspective on who we are, and it gives us the
Impossible
reality
on
of
human
history
rights.
of who we are as a whole. I'm sorry, Impossible, if I'm cutting you off. But my question, I guess, to all that is, I don't think the issue is for those that do understand it, do get it like us. I think my issue is the outreach portion because us reminding ourselves of all these things, well, for the most part, we got it. But for the people of color that don't get it, that are choosing to subscribe to a false narrative because they believe that's all they know, how do we conduct outreach to get them to better understand? Because that's part of where I'm at with unity as all of us as a whole. That's my only question. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I think that a lot of times we look at what other groups of people are doing, and we have this idea that all of those people are sticking together. There's when our ancestors were running away on the Underground Railroad, there were plenty of others that stayed on the plantation.
Mhm.
But guess what? Both of them was forms of solidarity.
Yes.
Okay. So we have to stop thinking that
Elaborate on that, please.
everybody has to subscribe to our ideas. And if everyone isn't subscribing to this idea, maybe of blackness, then we're not together in this. We are. And that's why I was talking about the body. But as far as, reaching out, look at what we're trapped into. We're trapped in the box that we're in right now. So I guess, but at the same time, the revolution cannot be televised.
Yes.
Right? So we have to do what we were doing just what I was doing, sharing with people that certain things do exist. Go and look it up. Go and read a book. I mean, that's basically what I just spelled out. This is how you get informed. What else can we do? We can go to the news channels. There was 10 Black news journalists that got together as one to dish out Black news. And what was the name of that one? The Collective Diaspora. If we're good at subscribing and liking and all of that other stuff, subscribe and like to the things that you're saying that you're truly interested in. I think that one of the things is people that push this narrative that Black people don't sit together, there's no solidarity, they're not interested, because if you look for it, it's right there in your face.
1 second, Mr.
Okay.
Nice Guy. I want to respect the time of Mr.
Okay, I'm not saying
Impossible.
nothing. Yeah. Yes. Apologies. Go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna say this right here before I go. Everybody had everything to say. I agree with everyone, no matter where you coming from. The one thing that I would say, along with solidarity, what we always had was culture, principle, and value. When we put that back and we give that to our youth, we give that to the babies that's 2 years old, and we're teaching them culture, principle, and value. And we allow them to evolve in that. And wherever they're going, I promise you, not only will we have a community that's strong and ready to bond together, they will have a self-image about themselves that they can now go forward in. They won't be looking themselves as a they. And this is how I feel about the day. I got to put all my 2 cents in before I go. How I feel about the day. Bruce Lee said there's no opponent. So there is no day.
Except the one
The
that's
only day is what we describe. Well, any way you want to put it, Mr. Nice Guy, that's cool. But there's no opponent. The only opponent is you.
Yep. Yep.
Okay?
That's what Bruce Lee was talking about.
Then
I got his book.
I'm gonna go
I got
one
the
more
down.
time back and say, Priestess, I didn't take it as a point in saying if you put a Moorish aspect of yourself that you're going to be liberated and free. What I was preparing to is once you really understand who you're and what you are in your rights, it's difficult for somebody to take that away from you. Because when you know that, it's like somebody telling you who you're not right now. You look at them like they crazy because you know what you know. You've been through what you've been through. No one can strip you of that. So when we get back to giving our youth that same thing and understanding who we are in principle, not just in name, because as you stated, if we go to that point, we know that there was good Moors and bad Moors. There's good Anunnaki, bad Anunnaki, all that good shit. So we saying there's good and bad and all.
Yep.
We ain't gonna worry about that. I just want to say I appreciate all the understanding I had tonight. Thank you, preachers, for sharing out some of those situations where I didn't even know that existed myself. So you definitely gave me some game tonight, and I definitely will be going and taking a look at some of those businesses and what they're offering and how they're offering, how they got it set up. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I really appreciate it because I didn't even know they existed. So thank you.
I'm gonna be putting those links. I'm gonna be dropping those links as well. So I'll send those to you if you don't find them already. Impossible. All right.
All right, bet. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Take care. Bless.
Respect. Thank you. Hey,
you take care of yourself, man. You take care of yourself.
Thank
you. Yes. Woo. Priestess Imani. Thank you. I was looking up all that. So I got I found the collective. I need my glasses. So I had posted that picture up earlier, and I just wanted to make sure that was the right one. This one right here.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. And then I found the website for the Collective Diaspora as well. I had that sharing. That was the right one?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. I gotta find Good Feed and the Spill app still.
Okay. And then there's the Black Coalition. You can put in your zip code or look at a map, and there's a list of Black banks there.
Okay.
Yep.
If you said Black Coalition, I was like, I'm not gonna get marked as a terrorist if I type that in. Then I'll come knocking at my door like I'm in Mississippi, like, hey, we flagged you for some things. We saw the word coalition and Black combined together. Like, hold up, swerve.
You know what the interesting story about Jessica Gordon is that she had the opportunity to look into cooperatives, and she was wondering, like, were there any Black cooperatives? So she started asking around, and people were like, oh no, Black people don't have cooperatives. Black people don't do that. That's not a Black thing. And she started looking in history at some of the very obvious examples, such as the Underground Railroad. And these are just the ones that is documented. Anytime a Black person picked up a machine.
Freudian slip. That was a Freudian slip right there.
You know what I'm saying? Anytime a Black person pick up a machete and hold it at somebody's neck, that was also a cooperative. So it comes in so many different forms. And like I said, even the ones that stayed on the plantation, they had to come up with something cooperative on their survival.
Sure.
I'm rolling into our impact in the world. This is going to be my final talking point. And with that, we are going to be more than welcome to have a conversation. In all honesty, we were flowing through this whole thing conversation. But I want to talk about our impact in the world. How Priestess Imani was talking about earlier about the Black power. A lot of us do not recognize that we are the ones that are looked at when it comes down to the idea of culture. Everything that we do, others try to emulate. Have y'all noticed that?
Absolutely.
The way that we do our hair, the way that we walk, the clothes that we wear, the music that we create.
Absolutely.
Others try to emulate the same thing. They try to portray us, and then they try and talk down to us as if what we're doing is bad, but then later on down the years, they come back doing the same exact thing. Right now, they got a different name for do-rags. I'm like the village braids, that how Africans call them, or cornrows. I'm like, they end up naming it something different. I'm like, you have people in Japan who are purposely getting a type of perm to make their hair curly like ours, just so that way they can get locks, so that way they can have an afro. We look down on ourselves. A lot of us look down on ourselves, not realizing that everybody wants to be like that, be like us.
Sure.
We put so much on ourselves and talk so negative about. A lot of us talk so negative about ourselves, not realizing that we are what everybody wants to be, unfortunately. So why is it that we can? Everybody wants to be like us, but a lot of us don't even want to be ourselves. Our impact in the world. That's what I want to talk a little bit about right now. You can come join over here. I mean, if you want, you can sit right here. I can stand. You sure?
Oh wow, there's only two of us here. Oh wow. So,
I'm
Uno left.
No, I'm guessing his phone just died. He's right next to me. That's what I was just talking about.
Oh, okay.
But Mr. Nice Guy, our impact in the world. Let's talk about that. Matter of fact, I don't even need to do this. Let's just keep it on the 3 for right now. Let's talk about our impact.
Sure.
I want to talk more about the positive things about ourselves, because we oftentimes see more of the negative things, and a lot of us talk more about the negative things. So Priestess Imani, thank you. I was gonna try and close it out on a positive thing, because I knew that a lot of things when it comes down to us is Sharice Collins just said it. If you devalue it, you will give it away. A lot of us devalue ourselves. A lot of us throughout the generations have been taught to look down on ourselves, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, based off the way that we were being brought up, unfortunately. So a lot of people have yet to be able to take that power back, have yet to truly love themselves. They may say they love themselves, but they're loving the idea of themselves based off what society is telling them that they need to do, without actually truly loving who they are, their skin, their kinky ways, and all those things. I'm like, we literally create. We create everything. The things that we have, the things that we are doing, not the things that we are doing that are coming from within, are things that we have been doing throughout history. And I hate saying history because it's his story, but even in his story, they still portray a little bit of truth. They still give us a little bit of what it is, but change certain things that show us the power that we truly have. So I want to talk about the good things about us. I don't want to talk about the ignorant things and all that. I want to talk about all the things that we do and the things that we can do better. And if you're giving it away, someone will take it. I'm going to continue this. Sharice Collins says, if you devalue it, you will give it away. And if you're giving it away, someone will take ownership and make it great. Never giving credit where it is due. Oh, I've been through that multiple times. You are correct. So anybody can go ahead and jump in first on that one. Our impact in the world.
Individually or just Black people as a whole?
As a whole.
Okay. I would say from my lived experience, Black people, we love so hard. We love so hard. We love our family. We love our children. We love people. But unfortunately, more times than not, even we love even when that love is not reciprocated. We are overly understanding, almost to our detriment. We are a creative, inspired, impactful, motivating people that can find the most unique, beautiful things out of nothing. I'm quoting Cat Williams in an old comedy skit where stand-up, he said, "We can make something out of nothing." And I've seen that more times than from history till now. We just do that. And not to sound, arrogant or overly proud of, what Black people have accomplished, but we are able just to have these outlooks on a horrible situation and just come out of it, almost damn near pristine, so it's always inspiring to see. And to know that potential is out there keeps me motivated to be not only proud of who I am, but to take pride in my own individual, in my own identity or my own individualism as a Black person or a person of color, and not just one cookie cutter expectation, you know? So, yeah.
Mr. Sigma Uno, Princess Amani.
You want to go, Sigma?
No, ladies first.
Okay. Well, thank you. Our impact on the world. I'm kind of thinking of examples. One way that we've impacted the world that I think that we kind of look over is the natural hair movement, because that was a cooperative that we didn't realize was going on. You're seeing more Black women with natural hair, and even if they have a lace front on, under that wig is most likely some unprocessed, unrelaxed hair. And because of that, relaxer sales have went down a lot, and we know that relaxers were very detrimental to the Black woman's health, causing fibroids and seeping into her pores, getting to her brain, etc. The natural hair movement in America has gone to other regions, such as Cuba and the DR, places where Afro-Latino women are not Latina women are not really accepted and recognized, and now they're learning to be proud of their kinky hair. Another way that we impact the world. Our culture, like you were saying earlier, Danley, is our culture. Our food. And our food is our story. And, you know, all over the world, you're going to see some soul food somewhere, at least some fried chicken, okay? You're gonna see
many ways to redo it, too.
Right? So our culture, and I feel like some of the things that we accepted as a part of our culture, such as gangster rap and things like that, right? Right now they're kind of dismantling some of that by revealing some of the bad things that's been going on in the music industry. So now we can't really put certain people up on a pedestal anymore that we used to praise. But along with that, as we discard these individuals, we also need to discard the theories, the philosophy, the ideas around what Blackness is, such as gangster rap praising the abuse of women, praising going to prison, praising dropping out of school, you know, praising destroying your community. So I think when we reform our culture, the world is going to also follow suit. The opportunity that we have is this: we are agricultural earth people. If we start back taking care of the planet and the environment, we encourage sustainability. If we pay more attention to where we put our dollar as if our face was on it, we would have more of an impact on the world, because crazy enough, we are the biggest consumer in the world. So everybody is profiting off of Black folks. And if we set a standard for where we put our dollar, that will give us more room to have a more set impact on the world.
That's my facts. Stigma Uno. Oh, let me read this real quick from Cherie Collins, real quick. She says, "We are the head and not the tail. We are so far in the lead, we are taking up the rear." Yeah, we about to lap everybody for facts. Mr. Sigma Uno, our impact in the world.
We are the innovators, we're the engineers, we are the poets, we're the singers, we are athletes, we are the builders of all foundations, we are the idea behind everything that's ever been great, we are the innovators and creators, we are God when it comes to presenting producing children. We're happiness. This earth would be nothing if we weren't here. They wouldn't laugh if we weren't here. We are the comedians. We are the lovers. We are the, oh my gosh, we are the smile. We're the sun. We're the moon. We're the waves. We are the wind. We are all of those things. The earth would not exist. Anyone in this earth would not exist if we weren't. And that's been proven. We're the common denominator. We're the great equalizer. We are, oh man, we're the heavyweight champion. We're the welterweight. We're the lightweight. We are everything and everything and everything. We're the sun and the stars. We're the universe. We are the wave. We are energy. We are positive energy. We're negative energy. We are everything. We're all things.
Ashe.
My man just dropped like 20 bars right now.
I'm telling you, I was soaking it in. Yes.
Jeez. You just wrote a love song to all the melanated community out there, bro. You are the sun and the moon. You are everything. Yes. You are the soul of this planet. My gosh. She's a bread. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put this on because my brother-in-law had wrote a poem. And I want to go ahead and I want to drop that because it fits very well in this. Now that's funny. That dude right there kind of looks like Mr. Nice Guy.
Well, damn.
But hey, let's be quiet real quick, and I'm gonna play this real quick.
Poem's titled "Can I Be Black?" Can I be black without being followed around the store as if I'm going to steal a product without paying for it? Can I be black without the negative statistics attached to me as if I'm not my own person? Can I be black without dribbling a ball or rocking a mic as if those are the only professions that defines a black man's success? Can I be black while running or walking down the street in a suburban area without being told I don't belong there? Can I be black without being judged by the way I act, speak, or conduct myself? Can I be black to have my sons see me grow old and decrepit, for me to be present at their weddings? Can I be black without having my life cut short because of after the 400 years of horrendous memories seeped into this earth? Can I be black without having fear in every choice I make? Even when I'm wrong, I still deserve a second chance. Can I be black because I didn't choose this, but it chose me? So I will carry my blackness with grace and authenticity.